welcome to the Bill Mason Show. How you doing, Bill?
I'm doing well, fresh off of a spanking from YouTube for saying the wrong things. And obviously,
Mm-hmm.
those people that we just showed, they may or may not believe those things as well. But here we are. We're back again. Let's give this a shot.
All right, as you know, well, I don't know if anybody knows, but we were suspended from
Yeah.
YouTube. We said the wrong thing, which, looking over the terms of service, you can say almost anything to say the wrong thing.
Yeah, community guidelines are this really cool, it's almost like a rubber band. Like you could put community guidelines around just about anything. It's so flexible. It's great for them. But I mean, for us trying to be people that report on stuff as we see it as commentators and using stuff under fair use guidelines, we are the ones who get the spanking. And, I don't understand how a lot of people out there are getting their substantive news. Like, where do they get it from? Because everything that could be considered factual has a meter on it, whether you're allowed to say it or not. And that's a weird place to be in this country.
Can't talk about politics, COVID, and what else can we not talk about? A whole bunch of other things we can't talk about either.
World Health Organization.
Can't talk about that. We probably shouldn't have said it. We'd probably get banned again.
China.
Yeah.
If you don't say that China has customs that you should be able to accept because they have a different way of life in China. So when they have camps, maybe there's summer camps for Uyghurs.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe that's just their custom.
Yeah, summer camp, you get killed.
Yeah, and they say, oh, you have a nice liver and a healthy heart.
Yeah, maybe we just sell that to $30,000 to American somewhere.
Yeah. So I mean, it's hard. It's like walking on eggshells. But like we showed in the opening clip, the reason behind that is because President's Day went by, and we weren't able to make a show. So we just wanted to show you guys, our subscribers, that President Trump still has a formidable support system out there.
Yeah.
And can you imagine? Yeah. That's what I mean. And can you imagine that after Barack Obama got reelected, can you imagine a Mitt Romney parade on President's Day? No, absolutely not. So, I mean, the thing about Donald Trump is how he did unify. Not only they say like, oh, Donald Trump was divisive. No, he wasn't, because he brought not only conservative Republicans, that were always looking for somebody who was going to be constitutional and pro 2A, and then he also brought in people that were on the fence too. And I think that's what expanded that base to, 70 plus million, because honestly, Republicans before that were getting maybe 56 to 60 million tops. So if Donald Trump can grab an extra 10 to 12 million people from the heartland that never felt like they were fully represented, that's why the movement is still with Trump and not with the GOP. Because the GOP, they really don't stand up to this crap that Trump put up with. So everybody saw a hero. Everybody saw a guy that they were like, wow, he's talking about me right now. He's talking about me. I live in Kansas. Like, everybody flew over my state before Donald Trump. Everybody flew over, Nebraska and Iowa. No one gave a crap about us. Donald Trump flew in and said, oh my God, you're the backbone of this country. You guys make the food. You guys get it done. Now you have an extra 10 to 12 million people that were never Republicans before, but they're Donald Trump-licans. I'm going to call them Donald Trump-licans. They're not Republicans. And you have guys like, rest in peace, Rush Limbaugh. I know we're going to get into him, who also found a way to not embrace the regular GOP guys. I can remember listening to him and going, really? Jeb Bush? Really? Like calling these staunch Republicans out, going, these guys aren't leaders. Donald Trump's a leader. And he pointed it out from the very moment he came down the escalator. Yeah, and that's why Donald Trump, pretty much had a guy in his corner, and that was Rush.
Yeah, and Trump didn't put up with anything, so that's the reason why he liked him. So we're going to go into Rush in a minute, but I'm going to circle back, no pun intended, about the banning. We are showing the banned video on Facebook. It's our featured video. It says banned on YouTube. If you guys can figure out what we said that would make us banned, please help us out, because we have no earthly idea.
Let's have a prize. If someone can figure it out, I'll send you a Bill Mason T-shirt. If you guys send us an email and tell me what exactly we said that got us banned, I'll send you guys out a T-shirt or something, because I couldn't figure it out either. But apparently, like I said, it's like this elastic rubber band that just fits around whatever they want it to. So here we go, doing the dance.
Well, let's still talk about Trump a little bit. So Trump, man, he hammered Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, and rightfully so, because Mitch McConnell showed his true colors. And not that I didn't have, I think we had talked about it before, how there were Republicans that were begrudgingly trying to not endorse Trump and trying not to help him. And McConnell may or may not have been one of those guys. Very deep ties to China. I mean, honestly, it's so apparent how he embraced Biden that he turned his back on everything that even is staunch Republicanism just to endorse Joe Biden.
Right. I mean, he really laid into him, told me he was a sorry dog and all kind of stuff. So, I mean, here's his statement here that we have up on the screen here.
Yeah, I mean, and the part where he said that, Chuck Schumer plays Mitch McConnell like a fiddle, I think it's mutual, man. I've watched these two play what appears to be a tennis match, but it's like a rehearsed tennis match where they go back and forth and they're like, oh man, if it wasn't for these Democrats, we'd get so much more done. And then when the Republicans have the majority, then they go, oh, these Democrats get in our way. And oh man, once again, we had a couple Republicans defect, which we know who these Republicans are, these fake rhinos and, Susan Collins and Mitt Romney. And I mean, they're the same people over and over again. But Mitch McConnell has always been like this secret backdoor deal guy that really doesn't represent the GOP like we all think he does. And I think with Trump calling him out, he can pretty much kiss his career goodbye, like probably about 20 or so other, what I want to call Republicans, but, in name only. They're going to get primaried and probably see their career end too, but will they get picked up by some corporation or will they become lobbyists? Most likely they'll be fine. They'll land on their feet like they always do.
Oh, yeah. What do you do with your $2,000 check that Democrats promised us?
I didn't get it, and I'm very upset because honestly, Donald Trump was the guy, and I had a couple of conversations at work. I work with various political views, and I said, yeah, remember when Donald Trump was trying to get everybody $2,000, and then the Democrats were like, yeah, let's do it, and then guess what happened? It didn't happen, and now you have Biden in there, and it's still not happening. And
they can control the Senate, they control the House. Why can't they give it to us?
There's nothing but control. Well, I'll tell you why, and we're going to talk about this later. This is why they're doing stuff like impeachments and Donald Trump only legislation and HR 1 and HR 127. That's why the American people aren't getting even the moment of paying attention to, is because they're sidetracked by this crap.
Yeah, of course, we already knew that impeachment wouldn't go anywhere, so
it was such a sham. And I mean, the fact that this is what blows my mind. They doctored the evidence. Do you know what would happen to a prosecution that doctored evidence? I mean, this is some real horse shit here that we watched take place in the House of Representatives. And it's not the first time. This is the second time, because they also did it the first time. We all knew the Russia hoax was garbage, and all these people that pushed it through should be tried under treason as well. I mean, I'm that guy, man. I'm sorry. If you accuse somebody and fail, you take a shot at the king and miss, there should be
head should roll.
Some kind of repercussions.
Yeah. Well, that's where they get the heads for roll, guys. That's where that saying came from. Roll.
Honestly, I mean, we're watching people like Nancy Pelosi, who put their full force into nothing but legislating stuff like HR 484, which is a Donald Trump only bill. I know we're going to talk about it later, but I'm fuming.
Let's go ahead and talk about it, because we're going to the rush, but we'll go ahead and go to HR 484. Let's go into that real quick.
All right, so this thing on its face is so ridiculous. They wrote it to basically only be about Donald Trump, because it says any president who has been impeached 2 times cannot have a monument, cannot have a political subdivision, cannot have federal financial assistance, cannot have a pension, and all the privileges of free mail for life. Like anyone who's experienced the U.S. Postal Service over the holidays, free mail for life is not really a great thing to have. But anyway, they want to take that from him. They want to take they're afraid he's going to get a monument and a library. This is what they're writing bills about. And 484 is horse crap, just like the other ones, HR 127, HR 1. I mean, this is all stuff solely related to stripping everyone who supported freedom and taking them away in little tiny bites. And this 484 is just Trump. 127 is just gun owners. HR 1 is, federalizing the elections. I mean, they are hard at work at everything but doing something for the American public. And this is what happens when Democrats control everything. They solely focus on their stupid agenda. They don't get anything done.
What president ever is going to get impeached twice?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much thought that it wouldn't even happen more than once.
Right. But
they failed twice.
It's never going to happen. I mean, unless Nancy Pelosi is still the Speaker of the House in the future, which I doubt, and when a Republican runs again. Who knows when Trump runs again, if Nancy Pelosi still, he can be impeached 3 times.
I mean, what's to stop that? They abuse the impeachment process so badly that what the founding fathers put it in there for was for some kind of drastic, heinous crime. And they found a way to just use the press and to use propaganda to literally push an agenda to get a president just thrown under the rug, put under fire. And honestly, the Democrats don't care because they all say the same thing. Well, he's going to have that impeached asterisk next to his name or whatever. We did our part. But they really didn't do anything but waste the American taxpayers' time and money, and they didn't accomplish anything. The 116th Congress, their entire legacy is this stupid impeachment and the other crap, the Russia hoax crap, and it's nothing but pure garbage. And the 117th is literally just starting on the socialist communist agenda. It's terrible.
It is terrible. I mean, I know you did, and then you did that HR, what was it, for the guns?
127. 127 is basically, a communist dream. Gun registration, taxing, the regular income people to the point where they can't even afford to own a firearm.
$800 a year just to keep your gun registered.
Yeah, and a permit to buy ammunition and a special appointment from the Attorney General to do the psychological evaluation. Not like you can go to your regular doctor and your doctor sign off, which every doctor in his right mind doesn't want to do because he's like, I don't know, Bill, you can go batshit crazy tomorrow. Why would I put my name on this thing?
Oh, yeah.
So they put in there a provision where the Attorney General appoints basically a psychology czar to say whether you're okay or not. And I mean, it's just drastic, and it makes almost everybody who bought a gun in the past 6 months a criminal.
Well, what do you think? You think if I wore this hat to that meeting, you think I would get a permit?
I don't think you would even be able to fill out the paperwork because that's also written in there that, if you go in there and we run out of paperwork that day, we'll let you know when we get it in again.
Yeah.
Which they put in layers and layers of gatekeeping. Yeah. Where it's funds and taxes and people that can appoint you and people that have to approve you, and it's every year, and it's just such a nightmare to Second Amendment. It makes zero sense, but in their mind, it's going to impact crime when all that bill does is take regular families from being able to own firearms and effectively use them. The people who buy Uzis out of a trunk are still on the streets of Chicago, and they're still going to shoot up the neighborhood. They're not worried about HR 127 at all.
No, they're not. If you look at Mitch McConnell, that statement from Donald Trump, it says "Save America." So I think that's going to be his new saying: "Save America."
He's going to have to, because we all know that Joe Biden, judging by his executive orders, is not going to build back better.
No.
He's basically going to dismantle with the will of a pen.
Right.
So
I agree.
If he does run, I mean, everybody's saying that he is contemplating many options, from starting a social media platform, starting a television station, running again for office, or just supporting the total dominance of the GOP, or is he going to start a third party? And this is the problem, I think, with the rumor mills that we run with, myself included. I would love for all of these stories to be true.
Right.
I would love for him to not only start a social media, start a television station, like literally just, unify all the conservative minds and get us focused on the task at hand. Mm-hmm. I would love for all that to be true. But we all put a lot of faith in Donald Trump. And I know a lot of the people in the Q movement were just crushed by there wasn't some super secret plan that, like, on the day of inauguration, like they were just going to turn their guns on Biden and arrest him. But that didn't happen. And those stories that go abound on the internet, they actually don't help people. Mm-hmm. I think what really helps people is putting their self in a position to where they pay more attention to their local elections, because as we saw, local elections play out in the bigger elections. So like, if you don't know who your Secretary of State is, that's a problem. If you don't know who your Attorney General is, that's also a problem. You need to be more informed than ever as far as those things go, because we saw it start at a very low level and trickle up. So I mean, if we don't do something about what we know and the amount that we know, then we'll never be effective. And we can put all the faith we want in Donald Trump and the Republicans, but really it falls back on us on the everyday level.
Yeah, I mean, me and you, we've been doing this for almost 150 shows now.
Yeah.
And we didn't go down the Q route. Now, we was hoping. We were hoping Q was right, actually. But we knew that it was feel far-fetched.
I was reading into it and I said, man, it's like there's so much there that, and the other thing is that, I know we have said this off air, when you're a Christian or you're, mildly studying the Bible, you understand that prophecy is one way to make your prediction solidified. Mm-hmm. So we fall generally for prophecy-like things. Like when somebody says, oh man, wait till November 17th at 10:59, this thing's going to happen. Well, up until November 17th at 10:59, you have all this time, all this leeway. Like, you got us. What's going to happen? Tell me exactly. Oh my God, I want to know. And then November 18th comes and nothing happens. And then you go, guess what? December 12th, man. That's the next big thing. And then it only goes so far. And eventually people go, all right, the air's not in the sails anymore. Like, this is it. So, like I said, I know that there are people out there that still have all this, thing with the ties to it. But the reality is that it comes down to me and you. There's no savior waiting in the wings for us. Right. Nobody has got a super secret plan that is just going to play out in magical, like Harry Potter, like the end of Harry Potter. It's not happening. The government needs to be influenced by us. And I think we're losing that by losing our faith in all these processes. Right. Is that if we can't influence the government, then we have to make it so we can once again. And we're vastly approaching that. And I hope that we can do it civilly and it's not torches, pitchforks, and other things. But that is what all of these things are designed for. That is what the Constitution is about. And that's why they're trying to wipe the Constitution out of not only your mind, but out of the court system as well. And if people still fight to keep that, I think we have a chance.
Right. I agree. So, I mean, there's no man out there that's going to come save us. We hope Trump does come back and does a good job and puts us back in America first instead of America last. But the only person that's really going to save us, there's Jesus. He'll save us. When that time is going to be, I don't know. No one knows, unfortunately.
No one knows. And in the meantime, it's all about trying to keep your sanity and trying to stay like a good person. And that's the other thing about the internet. Like, some of our listeners, you feel like you have to defend every single thing that someone says, and they're goading you and they're baiting you and they want you to become this argumentative person. And there's a point where it becomes too much. and you really can't take it anymore because you feel as though that the internet world is real. And those people, when you walk out your door on your way to work, are going to be right in front of you, but they're not. You can turn the internet off. You could take 5-10 days off if you want to, read a book or something. I don't know, but we need to be level-headed people again, because when we get to this, you're going to push our buttons and we're going to react, you end up with stuff that we can't take back. And I don't want to draw, any conclusions to the Capitol, because I don't think that those people had a plan. I think that was mob mentality and just pure guts. And there were people that instigated that. Now, if you follow the money, that guy John Sullivan got paid $35,000 for that footage.
Yeah, we had 2 shows with John Sullivan. We saw him in there. CNN was embedded with him. He got $70,000, $35,000 each from CNN and NBC.
So it just goes to show you that there are people that want us to not be level-headed thinkers that we are at our core. We are the level-headed law and order thinking people. And when they take us out of that element, we're not effective. And even if all these people that are like, yeah, I got guns, I got ammo, I got night vision, that's great. Let's be effective first. And that's the thing. You can't just act without thinking. Without a plan, there's no victory. So the reality is we can't plan on social media. All these people that think they're going to go on Twitter and be like Militia 101 and be like, yeah, next Tuesday we're going to, whatever. You can't do that because that's what they want. All of that stuff is so easy to keep a record of. You cannot plan an insurrection on Facebook or Parler or anything, because guess what? They know. And now it's turning out that Nancy Pelosi knew on February 4th or whatever, or January 4th, the head of the Capitol Police, he asked for backup. He asked for provisions. Pelosi's the one in charge of the Capitol Police, and now she's under fire and being investigated. So here we go down the rabbit hole where all of these things that they tried to persecute Trump for in the second impeachment are all leading back to the same usual suspects. And you got guys like Eric Fartwell, okay, who's literally been the guy who's been tooting the Russia horn, and now he's caught sleeping with the enemy. And should he be on the Intelligence Committee? Absolutely not.
I don't think people know about that. I mean, a lot of people don't even know because it's not on CNN.
That's true. So if anybody doesn't know, well, Eric Swalwell got caught. I don't know if it was before he was married or during his marriage, because the timeline crosses when he was married, but he denies it. So whatever. If he was involved with this Fang person who is tied with the CCP party, who's a little honeypot, she's a little, 30-something, little Asian curvy thing. If he got caught doing whatever with her, he's on the congressional, there is no way that should fly.
He's a Chinese spy.
And she is a Chinese spy. There is no way that should be allowed. There is no way that Eric Swalwell should still sit on the Intelligence Committee. Yet if this was a Republican, he would be drummed out of everything. Mm-hmm. As we watch with Marjorie Greene, where she takes a stance and then they literally take her out of committee. Right. So, I mean, we watch the two opposing treatments of how this stuff happens. Somebody just has a view and they get trounced out of their committees, and somebody actually sleeps with the enemy and is on the Intelligence Committee, and they're still on the Intelligence Committee and still one of the impeachment managers. This is the most mind-boggling time in history for us to watch the double standard go on. Now, do we have any means to fix it? I don't think so right now. I think something needs to happen.
Yeah, I agree. Well, we'll see what happens. So let's move on to a sadder note. Even that's sad too. But Rush Limbaugh passed away age 70.
Yeah, we lost a great one.
Yeah, and we have his wife went on the radio and did a little eulogy, tell him he passed away. Let's take a look, see what she said. Okay.
You've kept her and Rush in your thoughts and prayers. Ladies and gentlemen, Catherine Limbaugh.
Hello, everyone. I know that I am most certainly not the Limbaugh that you tuned in to listen to today. I, like you, very much wish Rush was behind this golden microphone right now, welcoming you to another exceptional 3 hours of broadcasting. For over 32 years, Rush has cherished you, his loyal audience, and always look forward to every single show. It is with profound sadness I must share with you directly that our beloved Rush, my wonderful husband, passed away this morning due to complications from lung cancer.
So that was it. That was our day yesterday. Passed away. So we're going to take a look at his Medal of Freedom honor at the State of the Union. Take a look.
Almost every American family knows the pain when a loved one is diagnosed with a serious illness. Here tonight is a special man, beloved by millions of Americans, who just received a stage 4 advanced cancer diagnosis. This is not good news, but what is good news is that he is the greatest fighter and winner that you will ever meet. Rush Limbaugh, thank you for your decades of tireless devotion to our country. And Rush, in recognition of all that you have done for our nation, the millions of people a day that you speak to and that you inspire, and all of the incredible work that you have done for charity, I am proud to announce tonight that you will be receiving our country's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. I will now ask the First Lady of the United States to present you with the honor, please.
Oh, that was special.
That really was, man. That was a tearjerker. That was also, if I'm not mistaken, that was the same. Wasn't that the State of the Union where Pelosi ripped up the State of the Union address?
It was. Of course, she wasn't standing to honor somebody.
She wouldn't.
A dying person honoring somebody with a Medal of Freedom. You don't stand up.
Right. And, you know, listen, the partisanship from that moment on was, you couldn't hide it anymore. There was no make-believe. The Democrats are representing the Democrat voter and the Republicans are representing the Republican voter. It became the Democrats against Donald Trump, and it didn't matter who fell by the wayside after that. I mean, honestly, that was like one of the points where we watched her rip up the speech, and we knew when she could rip up that speech is technically the property of the U.S. citizens. When she ripped that up and threw it down, it was basically the disrespect for his administration from that point on.
Yeah. Well, no speaker in history has done that.
No.
You know.
No, the speakership until Nancy Pelosi was actually a very honorable position. Like, actually, one of my favorite guys, and I want to talk about this because it actually ties into Rush Limbaugh. Newt Gingrich, okay? Yeah. Newt Gingrich was a very astute speaker of the House. He made sure that everything was within the letter of the Constitution, and there were times where he had to take a step back from the GOP agenda and really look at the constitutionality of things, and he always ruled on the constitutionality of things. Even when the Republicans had the majority, he would woe the horses and say, you guys are getting out of hand, I'm still the speaker. So that was literally the point of the Speaker of the House, to maintain the constitutionality. Once we saw Nancy Pelosi enter that picture, Rush Limbaugh was the one to call her out every single week after week, going, what is she thinking? What are they doing? What is the 116th House going to represent in history? And he talked about it all the time, that in the annals of history, the 116th House is going to look like the worst Congress ever assembled, with the most abuse of its power. And it's true. Rush nailed it. And I mean, we're going to look back, maybe not in my lifetime, maybe it'll be my grandkids, but they're going to be like, what were they doing? They tried to impeach a president twice and they failed.
One over impeachment a phone call, one over a speech.
Yeah. And I mean, if you're going to impeach people, you better have evidence, man. Yeah. And, you know, the thing is that they abuse that power so much, it's going to be historic. And, you know, actually what got me into Rush Limbaugh, I'm going to date myself right now, but during the Bill Clinton era, when he started, no one was talking about what they called the Whitewater event. And he was one of the ones who was like, wait a minute, you got a president who was involved in some really shady real estate deals. Like, and it didn't stop when he got elected president. It just let his wife take over. And then there was the limousine scandal, the chauffeur scandal. Like, they were not scandal free.
It was a scandal after a scandal.
But Rush was one of the only ones that was ringing the bell.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there wasn't a lot of media attention. You had to tune into AM talk radio to really get a perspective on the Clinton agenda. Right. Like, what is Bill Clinton really trying to do? And you would listen to Rush, and in 2 hours, he would basically bring everything into focus. And that's what was great about him, because when conservatives had nowhere to go, Rush was the guy who would bring things to light and then talk you into a point where you could explain it to someone else. Right. And that's what I loved about Rush, is that he wasn't like this guy who talked in lawyer speak or anything. You know, he put it on literally bare bones terms, where if someone asked you, hey, what's going on with Whitewater? After you listen to Rush, you could tell someone. And it was a great place to be. And honestly, between him and, you know, Glenn Beck, it really pushed me towards finding truth and trying to be, you know, conservative. You know, has Glenn Beck, you know, switched gears here and there, but I mean, still, I gotta say that there were people that were willing to go out on a limb and put themselves out there regardless of the repercussions, and that was Rush.
Yeah, I agree, definitely. So we're going to miss him. Who's going to take over his show? We don't know. Did you hear anything? Who's going to take over his show?
I mean, there's so many guys that have filled in. Mark Stein is you know, for guys who don't know him, he's the guy with the British accent. He lives in New Hampshire. He's very pro-American and very, very pro-Rush. And, you know, whether Hannity, you know, Hannity had mentioned some things, and, you know, they're big shoes to fill. I don't think any one pundit is going to be able to pull it off with the amount of intellect that Rush put into everything he was going to tackle. Yeah. I mean, if he took a 15-minute paragraph It took him an hour to explain it, but when, like I said, when he was done, you understood it. It made sense. And can everyone do that? No, I don't think everyone can. He's like somebody you can't replace. He was the Babe Ruth of conservative talk. You know, he called the shots and then he hit them. I mean, that's what he did.
Yep, I agree. All right, let's take a look at Mars. Now, today, Mars touchdown aircraft, what was it called?
Historic. It is the Perseverance.
Perseverance, that's it.
Yeah, the Perseverance.
Let's take a look at this celebration.
All right.
Touchdown confirmed. Perseverance safely on the surface of Mars, ready to begin seeking the sands of past life. At this point, the descent stage has flown away to a safe distance. Perseverance is continuing to transmit direct through Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter to Earth.
There we go. So that celebration happened today, but they did show a picture on the Mars surface. I don't want you to get scared, Bill.
I heard they weren't expecting to see what they saw.
Yeah, take a look at this. Look
Bernie
who was
with the
there.
mittens.
Bernie Sanders.
Bernie with the mittens.
Oh, I don't know how he got there. There
You know what these people need? These people need socialism on Mars.
Right. Oh,
but
boy.
you know what? Real quick before we move off the subject, I don't want anyone to forget that's, one of our subscribers or not. During the Donald Trump era, we re-energized the space program. We got SpaceX involved, and we put people back in space as the United States. So, this may be, quote-unquote, happening under Joe Biden. But the NASA program was dead under Barack Obama.
Oh, yeah,
he
dead.
stabbed it with a knife and killed it. It was under Donald Trump that he revived the space program and put us back on this trajectory that we are now. Whereas, I don't know, can Joe Biden defund NASA just like Obama did? I don't know. I guess we'll wait and see. But, it's funny to watch something like this that is just a human achievement be so prevalent and be barely really touched and overshadowed by the political garbage that they're going to shovel about Joe Biden and, this, that, and the third, when really he's ineffective as a president so far. He's just, by the stroke of a pen, dismantled everything that Donald Trump put in order, stolen jobs, destroyed economies. I mean, honestly, let the rush at the border right now. I feel bad for these Border Patrol guys that had so much support under Trump, and now they're just literally watching it fade. It's fading away. The caravans are here. They're expecting to be free ridden in over the border under Joe Biden. No COVID tests, of course, but Biden wants people to be tested if they leave vacation in Florida and they go back to the Northeast. They got to be COVID tested, but those guys from South America, no, they're good. They can come. They can cross over.
Yeah, they come on over.
It's unbelievable, the hypocrisy of the left. And I think that it takes away from such an accomplishment of being able to land this rover on Mars and, all of the positivity of this, the human ingenuity that it took to make this happen. It's crazy that this isn't the pinnacle of American pride right now. Right. You have half of the nation who's happy about this, and the other half of the nation is waiting to see what executive order Joe Biden signs to further the agenda. Right. And this is where we're at, where I would love for us to not be imagine a world where we just elected people to vote in our best interest and we could get back to work, go to the movies, go out to dinner, look at the landing on Mars, maybe go to a fireworks show, just live as Americans. But here we are, we're well under the thumb of every government aspect where, unless you're in a free state, God bless you, you're in Florida where you can go to the movies if you want to. Like up here, I can't go to the movies. I can't do anything. It's awful.
I can go anywhere.
That's what I mean. So half of this country, probably more than half of this country, is still under the thumb of these governments that are I don't care. Even with masks, even with social distancing and hand sanitizer and everything, you still can't go to the movies. You still can't, you can't do this. Your kids can't be in school. You can't go on vacations because if you go on vacations and you come back, you need to stand in line with people who are probably COVID positive, even though you and your family are healthy, but you went to Orlando and took your kids, and now you got to stand in line with people who are coughing up a lung and probably COVID positive just to re-enter your state. And this is the world we live in, where they make these stupid rules and the rest of us got to live by them. I mean, it's
yeah, speaking of rules and stuff and long lines and I mean, did you see Austin at the grocery store line?
It's crazy. They're waiting in line for, what, 10, 15 items? That's max?
That's the max you can get. So take a look at it's like a mile-long line. Take a look.
And sprouts.
Austin, Texas. That would have to be out of toilet paper stand that line.
Oh, absolutely. I'd have to be out of everything to stand in that line. Honestly.
So, of course, Texas is frozen over. You got frozen fish coming up on the beach, frozen turtles. We got deer that's frozen solid on a lake. All you see is the head. What is going on?
They can't even make it through. And I think, Texas got a real shocker of this blizzard. And this blizzard is global. I mean, I know we have some other footage where places that never got snow are now getting snow. And believe me, I'm not a climate change guy. I know that the climate changes all the time. And I know that throughout history, I know that, 200 years ago, we had an ice age. And,
global warming, though.
Yeah, it was global warming under Gore. And it was all about the polar bears clinging to that last piece of ice. Right. And then it became, well, some places are getting colder. And they were like, all right, climate change. So this is going to actually give them fuel. It's funny to watch them kind of like jump from rock to rock. But it's the windmills are frozen. The solar panels are covered in ice and snow. And Texas power grid goes down. And now they're going to be like, well, but there's snow in Saudi Arabia and there's snow all over the globe. So it's obviously climate change and we still got to be green. And it's like, okay, if we're not burning fossil fuels or nuclear energy, how are these people keeping their heat and their lights on? And honestly, we're watching Texas go through something, which is, supply chain basics. If, the state of Pennsylvania actually sent about 500 heavy duty trucks equipped with plows. And their line trucks too to do work on their electrical grid, because some of the power lines got so heavy with ice that they broke and they came down. But Texas doesn't have enough plows because they can't handle snow. How often do they deal with it? Would it behoove the state of Texas to buy 10,000 plows? No, because they'd use them once every 50 years and it would make no sense. Right. So anyway, that being said, there's this thing where you have to kind of like understand that there is going to be stuff that you can't control. And you're going to have to deal with it. Now, supply chain initiative, here we go. That little store in Austin, Texas probably only has so many things on the shelves. The trucks aren't running, okay? I'm a trucker. I did not work today because of the weather up here in the Northeast, which means everything is back a day. And then supermarkets and all these other places where you get your stuff may run out of stuff. That is just the way it works. And if you're not prepared, like some of our subscribers may be, or me, I have more than enough toilet paper. I have plenty of soup. I have plenty of bottled water. I mean, I don't have to run out and stand in those lines. I don't literally run myself down to my last roll of toilet paper and my last morsel of food. So if I have to go an extra week or so while things get back up to play, I'm fine. It's those people. I mean, Austin's very liberal. I don't know if they prep, but I'm sure.
They have AJ there, though.
Yeah, they do. They have Alex Jones, and they have Elon Musk, and they also have Joe Rogan.
They do. So, man, they have a lot of people there in Austin, don't they?
They do.
A lot of cool people.
From what I heard, between Elon Musk and Joe Rogan, they are buying up real estate at record pace because they are worried about the Texas rush, where everybody wants to move to Texas. So they're buying the real estate up. They want to develop it. They want to make it so it slowly, gradually becomes something that they want and not another Los Angeles. So they're using their financial prowess to slow things down. So now when you go in, you say, I want to live in Austin. Hey, you got any acreage? And they're like, nope. There's nothing bigger. No parcels available. So, I mean, is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. But
let's take a look at snow in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, the snow in Saudi Arabia, man. I mean, it's been, what, 50 years since it got snow?
Yeah, 50 years. The camels are loving it, though.
I'm sure they are. I mean, they're just chilling. They're not lugging stuff. They're not hauling ass over the desert. Sleepy time. Yeah, once in, every 50 years, you got to deal with it.
There we go. So, loving life there. And then we got, there's just other things weird going around the world. We got Mount Etna in Italy.
Yeah, active again. And man, when that thing blows, look at it. It's not a little puff of smoke like some of the ones in Hawaii, man. That thing blows its top. It's pouring lava. It shot rocks like 3.5 miles. Yeah, crazy.
We got earthquakes around the world. Actually, there was one in Japan. There's one. They're going off. So something's going around with our Earth. It's not climate change. I don't think it's greenhouse gases, but I don't think I can talk about that.
I don't think you can either, but if anybody else wants to look this up, magnetic north has moved almost 20 nautical miles, okay, over the course of the last 7 years. So that's also unheard of.
Polar shift, huh?
The polars are shifting, and many stuff happens to the Earth, man. We're just a spinning rock in the solar system. So whether we adapt or move, and there have been mass migrations of people throughout history. So based on history, which is important, and if we let the liberals run the show, they'll just erase it. So we don't know what happened in the past. I mean, that's literally what they want us to be, where only the present matters. Only the people here matter, where we need to learn from history.
Burning the books. That's what they're
doing.
Burning
the books. Purging the internet is, to me, the equivalent of burning books.
Yes.
It's the same, because we're trying to put information out there, and even something as simple as us, our take. We show you a video and we say, hey, this is what we think of it. That's history, whether you like it or not. That happened right now. If someone wants to go back and look at the Bill Mason show in the year 2095, and say, okay, well, I watched the Bill Mason show and then I watched CNN, and I obviously got two totally different versions of what happened,
right.
And then here we are. Then they get to make the choice. But if you erase the internet, that contrast is gone.
Yeah, good thing we had video backup, because if we did, we would be in trouble, especially with YouTube.
Absolutely. And I'm honestly, that is the way it's going. I mean, there are other platforms, and I'm sure anybody who's conservative is excited. I am. Parler is back. Everybody can go re-log in. It's a pain in the butt. You have to literally change your password, the whole nine. Parler's back. Gab is just off the charts, getting better every day. Cloud Hub, I have some issues with, because there is just a ton of bots on Cloud Hub that are literally just posting the same thing over and over. So your feed just gets crushed with garbage. So you really have to sift through on Cloud Hub. But a lot of these other alternative medias are really ramping it up to basically make Twitter and all these other people, like, it doesn't matter anymore. You're not missing them. You won't miss them once these people are off full tilt.
Well, take a look at this other video. I don't know what's going on, why he has a filter on. Let's take a look.
Ponton, I believe you have a filter turned on in the video settings. You might want to take
we're trying to. Can you hear me, Judge?
I can hear you. I think it's a filter.
It is, and I don't know how to remove it. I've got my assistant here. She's trying to, but I'm prepared to go forward with it. I'm here live. I'm not a cat.
I can see that.
Yeah, I'm not a cat. I tried to do a cat filter. I couldn't do it. We'll do it next show, maybe.
Yeah, you could download it. There's several different companies that let you do like Zoom filters and all kind of stuff, and it's not a big deal. I just thought it was funny that if you look in the upper left hand side, it says recording this video is punishable by law, and it's like that thing has been shared all over the internet. Apparently,
everywhere.
The law went out the window that day.
Right. Yeah, I don't think anybody's going to come get their $500.
No, I don't think so either. Yeah. But this is the world we live in.
Well, that's a show tonight, Bill. Do you have any last words?
Oh, last words. Pay attention to what is going on with your schools locally. Maybe Florida, it's not such an issue. I know up here in the Northeast, if anybody is watching, there are schools that are in a full-fledged battle over the teachers' unions, whether they want to come back, regardless of whether vaccinations are provided or not. Some of these teachers are now resistant to the vaccinations. Up here in the Philadelphia region, I know that's a fact, and they do not want to go back to work, whether there's vaccinations provided or not. So your children will probably be not able to go to school for another year, at least, if the teachers' unions get their way. Just saying, keep an eye out, be informed, know what your school boards are doing, if you're in a communist state like I am.
All right. There's several of them out there, so
yeah.
All right. Well, be safe out there, everybody. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful night.
Good night, everyone.